what do you do at endgame in Elder Scrolls Online? So if I understood correctly, Asmongold has not played Elder Scrolls Online yet, but Nixxiom, I have seen him several times playing. I think he's still pretty new to the game. He has like 300 CP or something. So I'm actually surprised he already does a video about endgame, because I don't think he really played the endgame yet. At least what I understand of endgame. So let's watch it and see how it goes.
Guys, there are two questions that I get asked all the time. The first question is, how do I get that free?
All right, dude. Nixxiom's joining a black metal band. That's good. That's really good to see.
That's dedication, I think.
Enjoy video, dude. Hey, man, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you making them. So here's what I'm thinking about doing.
Dude, he has a similar beard to me, doesn't he?
In the time that we have,
bro,
and try a new MMO. And actually just like, and like, but I don't know, like, see, this is the thing, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
You guys
sure.
you guys really like this idea. Holy fuck, MMO Monday.
MMO
wow,
Monday.
What the fuck? You guys really like this idea. Holy shit. Wow.
This
okay.
chat is going
Meltdown
nuts,
Monday 2.0. So let's think about it. All right, guys. So we've got.
Okay, let's just skip this because I think
I don't want to play a phone game. Like I'm genuinely like not.
Lineage?
I'm not interested.
I used to play Lineage, but it's so old.
I do not want to play Star Wars, period. What were we saying? Wizard 101, not going to play that. Neverwinter, not going to play that. Bless Online. Should I even... That's what I really care about.
What exactly do you do at endgame in ESO? Sure, the leveling looks fun, but what about when you hit level 50? What happens then? Well, fellas, I'd like to answer that question. It's an absolutely massive answer that I'm going to try to...
So for Nixxiom, endgame is once you have reached level 50, basically. Is that it? I mean...
Condense into a nice bite-sized video. There's a lot of stuff to cover, so let's just sit back, relax. Let's take a look at ESO's endgame experience. Now, the first thing you're going...
So in my opinion, obviously, when you reach level 50, you're still a baby, okay? Like you're a bebe. You're not even close to endgame.
Gonna need to do.
But again, it's interesting to see because Nixxiom is also a new player. So it's interesting to see how he perceives like what endgame is, or like when he reaches endgame.
Guys, is you're gonna have to actually reach ESO's endgame. You're gonna quest, you're gonna explore, do dungeons, whatever, and you're gonna hit level 50. And you're gonna sit there and say, yes, I did it. I'm ready now for endgame, right?
Right.
No, because now you need to get to champion point level 160, and that, my friends, is when your endgame experience will
I think I remember
begin.
Seeing this part of it.
No, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh my god,
I remember hearing about this.
I just got to level.
So he thinks endgame starts at 160 champion points. I guess it's not 100% wrong. Still, I think to truly participate in the endgame, you kind of need to reach the maximum 810. Because nobody will take you to trials if you're not max champion points, at least veteran trials.
Level 50, and now I need to grind out 160 champion point levels too?
That's insane.
That's gonna take forever. Don't worry. No, it won't. Champion points, or CP, are kind of like Paragon levels that are rewarded for doing pretty much anything in the game, and you're gonna get a ton of them really fast for doing practically nothing. You're gonna hit 160 pretty quick. That's all I'm trying to say.
That's good.
Now, for those who don't know how this CP system works, let me quickly explain why hitting 160 CP is the beginning of the true end game. Really, it all has to deal with gear, but CP levels also give you these talent points that you can invest into these different talent trees.
What is this like is this like a cosmic mythology here? Holy shit.
To make your character
this is pretty
more
complex.
powerful. You'll swing harder, you can cast stronger spells, you'll have more health.
I mean, the champion point system, I guess for a new player, it's completely overwhelming, and the game doesn't even tell you it's there till you reach 50. And it obviously, it's kind of like, damn, that's a lot of stuff. But once you're actually playing endgame, it's always kind of the same. Like, there is like some sort of best in slot stuff. So yeah, PvP is a little bit more variety, but that stuff, it's like, I don't know, it's always the same.
Talent trees.
What is this like a cosmic mythology here? Holy shit.
To make your character
this is pretty
more
complex.
powerful. You'll swing harder, you can cast stronger spells, you'll have more health recovery, whatever.
Oh, that's a
you
Naga.
can go up
Look
to
at that.
CP level 810 in ESO. But you see,
wow.
160, CP 160, that's when the gear stops scaling for your character. Yeah. Now you might be sitting there scratching your head like,
yeah,
what? And that's why
right.
I drew these MS Paint images.
Oh,
you
wow.
see this? That is you, that happy little...
Dude, he put so much effort in his video. Fucking painting Argonians.
Little Argonian. So let's explain this. Now let's say you're level 50 and you have a champion point power level of 61. Now what that means is when a piece of gear drops anywhere, it's going to be level 50, CP level 61. Now eventually though, you're going to get to level, let's say CP level 80, and a new piece of gear is going to drop, and it is going to be more powerful than that level 61 CP piece of gear.
I mean, don't do. Yeah. So the gear system in general. So like when you reach max level 50, the gear will always be level 50, and then sure you can get different champion points, but there is really no reason to craft like level CP 80 gear stuff, because you reach 160 champion points so fast, which is the gear cap, right? And once you reach 160 champion points, you can start farming and crafting gear, because that's where you want to prepare. That's where you want to start gearing up your character. Before, you can run whatever you want. Just pick the shitty loot on the ground. It's all Gucci.
Than that level 61 CP.
Yeah, I mean, champion gear, kinda, I think it's 10, 20, 30, 40, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, people will get the point.
Piece of gear.
So like, was it 150 or 160 is the highest?
And at 160, that's when this stops.
Then the scaling
stops.
Even if
you are CP level 165, for example, the gear that will be dropping will be CP 160.
Makes sense.
Although, even after 160, you will still continue to get those talent points that I mentioned that you can invest to make your character.
Can you trade gear in this game? So like, let's say like you kill something with your friend. Like, can you just give him the item that you get? So you can just trade gear. Wow, okay.
Wow. It's like, okay. That's a nice feature to have, I guess.
You're stronger. Okay, so now you're ready. You hit level...
So I guess he's not wrong with the gear, because not in WoW. Okay, I guess so. I guess it's hard to understand for a new player, because first off, the game doesn't tell you that there's champion points, and then it doesn't really tell you that the max gear cap is at 160 champion points, right? So technically, I can use gear that I created 3 years ago, and it's still viable, just because the gear cap never increases, right? And about sharing gear in Elder Scrolls, that used to be implemented like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Before, you also could not trade gear, but they implemented that, which makes a lot of sense. So you have like a 2-hour time frame window where you can trade the stuff, and after that's over, it's locked.
50. You just hit 160 champion point level, and that CP 160 gear is dropping for you. The highest of the highest.
Okay.
The best of the best.
That's really
good. You are ready to go, boy. It's time for Endgame, but what do you do? What do you do now, Nixxiom? What do you do?
What do you do?
You decide, really.
Man, the UI, dude.
Of the best.
That's really
good. You are ready to go, boy. It's time for Endgame, but what do you do? What
so much numbers, like, you don't see shit, like...
What do you do now, Nixxiom? What do you do?
What do you do?
You decide, really. Like many, if not
Roleplay,
most MMOs,
housing.
ESO's Endgame has a lot to do with gearing up, but it also has a lot to do with making your character as badass as possible in the way that
Fashion.
you want your character to be a badass. And I'll
Okay,
explain
that
what I
sounds
mean
great.
by that in a moment, but the question is, first and foremost, how do you gear your character up? Well, in ESO, the developers handle gear a little bit differently compared to other MMORPGs because, you see,
All right.
there are 7 different paths that you can take to get gear in the game. The first path is through the open world. At Endgame, most likely, you'll have barely explored 20% of the world, so there's still tons of quests to do.
Okay, all right. So this obviously sounds really fucking good. This does sound good. Everything about it does seem interesting. I'm not sold, but okay.
I mean, in my opinion, so far he has not shown any endgame content. I guess that's fine because it's kind of like an introduction scene or
Delves
whatever
to
the fuck
explore.
you call it.
Those are single-player
Yeah, those are-
dungeons.
yeah,
for
we
those
saw
that
one of
don't
those.
know. There are achievements to get, treasures to find, and so
Ooh.
on. So go on.
Treasure?
Keep questing.
Wait.
One ho-
Can you get mounts in this game? Can you get mounts in this game or no? Yes. Okay. Good. All right. I just want to make sure because like if it,
It's always when people like... Do you guys remember the Elsewhere release event? They're like, oh, well, if you buy the special edition, you get treasure maps. And she's like, oh, treasure maps. And you know, like, if you play the game, you know treasure maps are completely dog shit. But people always get excited when they hear treasure maps.
if you couldn't listen, I quit Guild Wars 1 because you couldn't jump. Come on.
So people say, yes, you can get mounts. But most of the mounts are only buyable through the store, right? Which I really don't like. It's dumb. They should give us more mounts through achievements. On the other hand, a true endgame boy farms skins, right? Skins and titles. That's what you want to do.
100% each zone, and as you quest...
Wait,
and as
they're from the shop?
Ah,
No, dude. What do you mean? So you get to go faster because you buy them from the shop?
no.
No.
Like, look at people, they also don't... So people are basically saying you can get mounts from the shop, which is right. But when you buy a mount from the shop, it still has 000. Like, you need to level up that stuff here. Let's see if I'm still logged in. Like this stuff here, even if you have mounts from the game, it will still be 0 and you have to level it up from 0 to the max amount. On every character, no matter what.
No, there's no way that's true. There's no okay, that all right, not all of them? Oh, well that sounds familiar.
you kill those outdoor world bosses and you fight mobs, open treasure chests, whatever, you will find overland sets of gear to make your character even more powerful. But let's say that you don't want a quest, you're done with the lore and all that stuff. Well, your second option, you could do some dungeons. Descend deep into ESO's many dungeons and caverns, slay bosses, find treasures, test your skills on veteran difficulty dungeon bosses one day, and during these adventures...
You really see that Nixxiom is like a newish player, like on his playstyle. Spamming the same abilities over and over, not a rotation. The UI is like those damage numbers, I really don't like that stuff. And dungeons are like the introduction into endgame. Because for me, the true endgame is like trials, veteran trials, hard mode trials. I don't really count dungeons as like a true endgame, in my opinion. It's like the puff to endgame.
You will find dungeon sets of gear for your...
I'm not sold on this combat, man. I'm really not sold on the combat. Am I wrong on this? It doesn't seem that good.
I mean, I guess Asmongold probably has not watched any other like Elder Scrolls Online content from actually people that know how to play the game. Because Nixxiom is still new. So you know he doesn't have the flow of combat in there. If he would watch like a pro, it would look completely different. Right? So I do understand when he says like the combat doesn't look good. Of course, if the person you're watching just joined the game, doesn't know how to play yet.
It doesn't.
Invite him to play. If he hits me up, I will gladly play with him. It's not a problem. Show him how it's done.
It's all right. I mean, hey, it's all right, but damn. It could be a hell of a lot better. Guild Wars 2 has the best combat. We'll look at that afterwards, but I want to focus on this right now, okay? Scuffed Skyrim. Hey.
Character. And as you do dungeons, guys, why not also go meet the Undaunted faction, a group of NPCs outside of your faction's stronghold that will reward you with monster sets of gear for slaying veteran-level dungeon bosses across Tamriel.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Man, you don't want to just stick with dungeons. You want to raid.
There we go.
Well, go and get your guild together, boy, and try out some of ESO's trials, both on...
What I do like about Nixxiom is his video is very well paced, in my opinion. Like, he goes from one point to the another, never breaks. Like, if I do a video, I always have to QQ at some point. So the video is very well paced.
On normal or veteran difficulty.
But it's only a 10-man
Either
raid.
way, a challenge is going to await you and your group, as well as trial sets of gear that you can attain. But as we all know, guys, getting together a ton of friends for raiding and whatever,
12?
it can be hard. So sometimes you just want, you just want a big challenge for maybe your...
I just like, dude, I mean, why can't they just be 50-man raids? If you got a bad computer...
50, dude, it's already hard to find 12 people to raid with.
Computer too fucking bad. Like,
how the fuck you supposed to find 50, dude? And oh my god, the servers, man. Goodbye. 1k ping.
See big ass motherfucking world boss raids, like the same shit that we saw in...
You could go to Cyrodiil though. Like in Cyrodiil, you have 50 man like trains and PvP. If you want to go there.
Like, where's that video? Like, where is it? Just a second. I think I still have it up, right? No, not that one. Not this one.
Okay. One thing.
Not that one. Not
Cyrodiil,
that one.
yeah. 50 man raids,
yeah, this
easy.
is what I want to see. This is right here. This is a good start. This is how many people, like, this is an average-sized raid. Okay, this is what we want to see here.
This is average sized. I mean, if you have so many people, you have like 10 good players and the rest of it is potatoes, right?
How many people, like, this is an average...
This is just some RNG fest.
Okay, this is what we want to see here. 12 people? I mean, fuck.
Mythic rates are 20?
Yeah,
okay.
Self or just a couple of your friends. So why not try out a...
So, now guys, what I noticed. So, that's Nixxiom playing.
Arenas in ESO. The Maelstrom Arena,
right?
Or Drag...
That's not Nixxiom playing. That is not Nixxiom playing. That's some random ass footage from YouTube. You know why I know? Because you see, this player knows how to play. Like, he pre-applies dots on the ground. Spectral Poe in the weapon swap. Buff trackers. He places the dots, immediately goes to the next target. Because he knows the dots will kill this target. So he moves on to the next one with ulti. He has a rotation. And yeah, the video is obviously cut out, so you don't see the name. I don't know where he has this from, but yeah, it's not him playing that. On the other hand, the next footage is actually him here.
Or Dragon
because this is probably normal Maelstrom, completely different UI.
Don't matter. Fight against
sword and what did he have?
This is what we want to see here. 12 people? I mean, fuck. What is this?
Self or just a couple.
He has a sword and bow build.
Couple of your friends.
That's him playing. The other video is not him playing. I think Nixxiom has like 300 champion points. I was just saying the other Maelstrom footage we saw was not him, because it had perfect rotation for veteran Maelstrom. This here is him playing. It's also completely different UI.
Why not try out a...
But I don't know. I think 12-man raids are actually fine in my opinion. Because first off, he will still have decent... I don't know how it is in World of Warcraft, but in Elder Scrolls Online... Because... you will have shit FPS. In World of Warcraft, I don't know how the FPS is. The engine is probably better optimized. In Elder Scrolls, you need a NASA computer, dude, to actually get there. Yeah. You see, he's a new player because he has a sword and bow, which is fine, you know. In the end, it's an MMO. If you're a new player, you should explore every option. That's a good thing, obviously. Don't just get like stuffed into endgame, like, okay, look, the endgame boys are running this, so you're only allowed to run this all the time. That's wrong. If you're a new player, you should explore, you should try out stuff. That's what the MMO is for, right?
In ESO, the Maelstrom Arena or Dragon Star, it don't matter. Fight against waves of challenging enemies. Fight against bosses with unique mechanics that you or maybe a small group
I want to see Asmongold in Maelstrom Arena.
I see where Nixxiom got his haircut.
And earn for yourself.
That's another thing. Like, a lot of new players go into Maelstrom Arena too early, in my opinion. Because back in the days when it came out, people were already experienced, right? And veteran Maelstrom is really tough. It got nerfed a lot, but it's still tough for a new player. Because most people, when they enter, are not even used to weapon swapping yet, keeping up their buffs. That's like, people don't know that yet, and then they try to go in there and rip. Yeah, this here is another player again, because you see different buff trackers. That dude actually knows how to fucking play. I don't know where he has the footage from. Maybe a friend of him or something.
PvE nonsense.
Yeah,
so why don't you go out and kill other players in Cyrodiil World PvP?
He needs to really clean up his UI. There's so much useless information. That's what I say. When you get add-ons, there's so much useless information. Scrap all that stuff. It doesn't help. Like, what do all those small numbers help you? You're not gonna notice it.
Burn down castles, take keeps, claim land for your faction, crown emperors, do battlegrounds, whatever. Earn yourself some PvP sets of gear to make yourself the most powerful foe on the battlefield.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Or maybe you're thinking about everything I just said and you're a little undecided on what you want to do.
My man.
Well, you know what? Why not just become a crafter? Craft for yourself some crafting sets that are some of the coolest and most badass armors in ESO. Those 7 paths to gear are all relevant.
Yeah, maybe like
who you are as a player.
So here's the thing, right? I don't understand, like, I'd have to understand more about the game. But fundamentally, one of those sets is going to be better, right? Unless the sets are just only functional in the situation that they're functional for, like they have some kind of like a resilience function. One of these sets is going to be the best set, right? I mean, and like, I don't see how that would be wrong. No?
How can he
Wait,
read the
then
chat
how
if
would
he's
it-
so fast moving, dude?
There's gotta be. Depends on what you're doing. I mean, look, dude. Like, I played a lot of games, and if there's one thing that I've learned from playing a lot of games, is that there's always a best.
I think that's not wrong, but also not really true. Especially like in PvE, there is like for if you really want to optimize, there is obviously a best in slot, but there is a lot of good gear that falls within like a 5% frame. So yeah, and in PvP, it really depends on your builds because the diversity is really big. You really like everybody's running different sets because it just fits their build better. So there is not just one best in slot and that's it. I think that's a big difference because again, the gear cap never increases. So sets that were created from like or has been released like 3 years ago are still used today.
Fox is the best. Like, warrior tanks are the best in classic. Like, there's always a best. Like, the wingman is the best gun that people use in what is it, Apex. There's always a best. Like,
All balance.
okay. All right. People say it depends. Look, I haven't played the game. I don't want to argue with people on a game I haven't played, but I remain skeptical.
Because ESO doesn't force you to do one particular thing at max level. It just gives you free reign. No matter what you do, whether it be dungeons, trials, the Maelstrom Arena, whatever, the game will reward you with sets that will make you better at the gameplay.
So I guess when you look at different content, there is always a different set that is good, right? Like Maelstrom setups completely differ from like Maelstrom setups completely differ from like trial setups in terms of like what gear you want to wear.
That you enjoy the most in ESO.
Okay.
But this is
Well,
also
yeah,
where it
Chris,
gets
I
a
guess.
little bit complicated at the same time, and it makes this video a bit tricky for me. Because you see, guys, ESO is really sandboxy when it comes to gear and character customization.
That's really good.
You can make any kind of
That's
character
awesome.
you want with any choice of skills that you want to use.
That's amazing. I love
and
that.
the point is, sometimes you might get a set that everybody is like, wow, this set is really good, it's really awesome. But for you and your play style, it might suck. And
Yeah.
some sets that might be really bad for other players might be really good for you. For example, you might
Okay.
use an overland set combined with maybe another kind of set from somewhere else in the game that plays off incredibly well with the abilities that you've
This picture,
selected
man.
for your character.
That yeah,
and
it sounds
you'll be
great.
a god
Shit.
in PvP. It
That's
really just
amazing.
depends on who you are as a character and what gear works well for you. And that's really what makes ESO so special to me, because
Yeah, that's
ESO.
really cool.
it makes the game so replayable.
Oh, we got
and
an
fun.
epic.
You never seem to stop customizing.
Wait,
or
wait.
Cool.
It makes the
Okay. I mean, usually the loot you get, I mean, this year, I don't even know what this is. It's like an epic. Hell yes. Most of the time, like in dungeons, you get different gear, but in Overland, you often just get like shit loot, even if it's purple. So, but yeah, people don't really know how the quality system works, I guess. But yeah, he's like, this was veteran mode, right? Because it's a purple gear drop. If he was in normal, it would be blue. For
so
example.
replayable.
Oh, we got
and
an epic.
fun. You never seem to stop customizing or finding new sets or new ways
I like how the
to make
damage
your
shows up,
character
but it should be
better.
bigger.
Like if Asmongold is like an achievement collector, or like he wants to get all the sets, he's gonna be busy. If you want to get all skins, all titles, all sorts of gear, he's gonna be here for a while. I don't think
At the
MMO
different
Monday
things
is
that you
enough.
explore and decide to do in the MMO. But beyond getting gear, there's still tons more to do in the game at max level.
Like what?
As mentioned before, by the time you hit CP 160 at level 50, you probably won't have even explored 20% of the world. So go out, explore those new areas, indulge in new quests, learn more lore, read more in-game books, and so on.
I don't like those red circles they put down. It's immersion breaking in my mind.
What?
Read more in-game books and so on.
I don't like those red circles they put down.
What fucking red
decide
circles?
to do in the MMO. But beyond getting gear, there's still tons more to do in the game at max level.
Like what?
As mentioned before, by the
Was there
time
red
you hit
circles?
CP 160 at level 50,
I didn't even
probably
see them.
won't have even explored 20% of the world. So go out, explore those new areas, indulge in...
This here. But how are you supposed to know if you get hit or not? I mean, you can make them blue, red, completely red, purple, green. But you can turn that off if you want to. But you're gonna die, trust me. So yeah.
new quests, learn more lore.
So that's how you know, like, Nixxiom is like kind of a new player. Maybe the footage is just older because like it just spams light attack, and there's like usually if you have a rotation, you weave ability, light attack, ability, light attack, ability, light attack. And here you know it just spams light attacks, you know it's a new player. That's usually always what new players do. They just spam one button. Which is fine, you know, people will learn.
Read more in-game books and so on.
I don't like those red circles they put down. It's immersion breaking in my mind. It's immersion breaking. Like maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't like. You can turn them off. Yeah, but then you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage.
People are Jesus that
like,
chat.
I mean,
dude.
nobody's gonna turn them off because it gives them an advantage. Like I don't feel like they should be in the game. Period. Nitpicking Andy.
You're gonna get one shot by a lot of stuff if you don't have these circles.
I mean, if I'm gonna put 100 hours into a game, I'm gonna want it to be good. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, I'm nitpicking it. Yeah. I mean, you think I want to put like 1,000 hours into a game that's fucking weird? WoW is immersive, by the way? Well, it doesn't have that problem.
I think it's really hard to move from one MMO to another one if you have played it so long.
Kind of like, yeah. You know, it's kind of like an RPG.
And I think the problem is also Elder Scrolls is action-based, so it functions completely different than other MMOs. Right?
You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Hunt for achievements as you travel across Tamriel. Gather sky shards to become even more powerful as a character by unlocking more skill points to use. Discover recipes for food, potions, poisons, and other things that can give you the edge in PvE or PvP. Or, if you're the settling sort of player,
I like that sword.
Go out, explore the world, and bring back its treasures back to your player-made house.
That is really
fully
cool.
decorated and designed by you. Guys,
the housing system is pretty nice.
Challenge yourself to dungeons, to Maelstrom arenas, to trials, to sieging castles in Cyrodiil,
cool.
battlegrounds, crafting,
like,
or just steal from NPCs, murder them in their sleep, make the Dark Brotherhood proud of you, and then get killed by the local guard because you were stupid and walked into town with a bounty of 1 million gold on your head. Really? When people ask me the question of what do you do at Endgame,
do you have
ESO,
transmog in this game?
The simple answer is whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
Follow a guide if you want.
Yes,
sure.
you do.
And that'll take.
I really think Elder Scrolls, like it's not called transmog, it's called outfit system here, right? It really makes it better. So many people return to Elder Scrolls just because they can style their character
through the world, and it'll show you some gear that you can find. But
I wish there
really
were games that didn't have that.
What you should do is at Endgame, explore and find sets of
20,000. That's a big crit. Holy shit!
Combinations that complement your character's playstyle.
Wow.
Or let sets that you discover on your adventures change how you play your tune entirely.
Okay, that seems cool.
The game is so sandboxy, and it's so unpredictable, and you'll never know what you're going to find around the next corner and how it's going to change you as a player. And I like that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I left out a ton of information from how crafting works.
That's Rudolph whenever he doesn't want to pull that sleigh around anymore.
Oh my god, there's a ton of information to talk about. So forgive me for the bite-sized video, but this is just a quick overview of ESO's Endgame.
No, it's not
Guys,
sacrifice.
leave a like if you want, leave a comment if you want, maybe correct anything that I might have said down in the comment section. I am a new player. I've only been playing for a few months, so if I got something wrong...
So I think Nixxioms' video is pretty good. I mean, obviously he understands Endgame differently as I do, but he's still pretty new. And the video is pretty well paced, really good, better than anything I have ever done on YouTube probably. But it's interesting to see how he sees the Endgame different compared to people that have been playing the game. Because for people that have been playing the game for a long time, it's Trials or PvP, Battlegrounds or Endgame, right? For him, it's like dungeon, crafting, stuff like that, exploring, achievements.
Wrong, I apologize, but either way, it's a hell of a lot of fun to make these videos for you guys. I hope you enjoyed them.
Let's talk about this.
Support the channel on Patreon if you want, or become a YouTube community member, and that's really all I gotta say.
Right, and like I was super positive about it, and people were like, oh, you're sponsored or whatever. Like, I thought it was fucking amazing. You'd love Amazon New World? Well, I would. Like, video does a really good job in selling the idea of the end game in the game, right? And I don't know really how much I would really like this game. What I really want to do, if like I'm playing a new MMO or something like that, is I like the idea of community and playing together and being part of something larger than yourself. And I see Nixxiom is doing a bit of that because, you know, this is like, I guess this might be like his garrison or whatever. And here's like a group of people that are like, where's the clip of this?
I mean, you can build you can build an own guild and have your community. So I guess that would do fine.
Picture of like these guys on like all their mounts together. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. And I just like to see more stuff like that in the game, right? I mean, that's really what it's all about. And like being part of like, you know, these large groups and accomplishing things together, that's really what's fucking badass in my mind, right? I
hope Asmongold has a good PC, otherwise he's gonna end up with 10 FPS. Yeah, Radikam, you're probably right.
Please watch a video made by an ex-WoW player. I just watched that like an hour ago, man.
Yeah, so I guess I get their idea. It would be interesting to watch them like play the game. But yeah, I think it's always really hard to swap to a new MMO, in my opinion. So guys, what do you think about the video? But yeah, anyway, let's just move on. Password exposed.